Hey, it's Catherine, and it's Halloween! Unfortunately, there's one thing keeping me from fully enjoying the holiday, and that is the Rocky Horror Picture Show remake. If you remember back a couple months ago, I did a review for the trailer, which I did not care for, but I was trying to keep an open mind. I did my best, but this movie's bad, and I've written some notes on my phone, so if you see me looking down a bit, that's why. So, this movie was a train wreck, but first, I want to talk about something good because I think that's only fair. The opening song I actually really liked, where they did a science fiction double feature. I actually thought that was a very good homage, and if the movie was more like that, then I probably would have liked it more than I did. The cast is at least trying. They're not good, but they tried. Laverne Cox, even though I don't think she was right for the role, she's still clearly having a ton of fun, and I can kind of give her a pass for that. Now for the bad. And there's a lot of that. First of all, nobody cared about this movie at all. First of all, Laverne Cox, she's trying, but the whole idea of what made Frankenfurter, like, shocking is that he was a man in a corset and fishnets, and this is just a woman in skimpy outfits, basically. I mean, it's interesting that she's transgender and everything. Like, I thought that was a pretty interesting, like, way to go about it, but she's a female, and the character is a transvestite, which means a man who dresses up like a woman. So that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and the girl who played Columbia did not care. Sorry about that, I just had to fix the lighting, but let's see. Brad and Janet, basically the same person. You could have easily mistaken one for the other. They have no personality, where in the first movie Brad was just sort of like, he was a nerd, but he was like the kind of nerd who doesn't know he's a nerd, and Janet is still kind of bland, but Susan Sarandon brought a lot to the role. They were way too into it in this movie. Like, in the original, they were like dead set against everything that was happening. But in this movie, they're dancing to Rocky's song, and speaking of Rocky, he's not that bad, but you don't feel as sorry for him, even though his situation is probably worse. I mean, he's sleeping on a mattress in the basement. But in the original, you felt sorry for him because everyone was all up in his face and trying to bang him all the time. But here it's just kind of like he's running around like an idiot. Riff Raff and Magenta at least look cool, but they don't have as much screen time and their character is gone. Like, you know, like they were like creepy and weird, but no, they're just henchmen now, which sucks because Riff Raff looks really cool in this movie, I'm not gonna lie. Eddie was played by Adam Lambert in this movie, and it was basically pointless. I mean, they got Meatloaf to play him in the original, but that's because he also played Meatloaf in the stage show. But here it was like basically just a standard Eddie performance, but he sang the song and he died. But all the like backstory for him is just like in Dr. Scott's song, yeah, it's just sort of But they got Adam Lambert, who was a very pointless choice, but I hope it was worth however many $1 billion it took to cast him. Oh yeah, and they kidnapped Tim Curry so he could play the narrator. I'm not entirely convinced that they did not just like capture him from, like, wheel him to the set and just gave him a script and said, okay, say these lines. Alright, now they won't hate. The songs in this movie were just totally subpar to the original, except science fiction double feature, as I said before, was pretty good, but Nobody can sing better than Richard O'Brien, in my opinion. Yeah, that was Richard O'Brien who did the singing voice. And Patricia Quinn, who played Magenta, was the lips. Fun fact for you. Damn It, Janet was like okay. I liked how they were like in a graveyard when they were singing this song. I thought that was kind of funny and keeping true to the original. If this movie like still did its own thing but paid little homages more, I think that would have made it way better. Like in Science Fiction Double Feature, for example, like the woman who was singing it, I don't know her name, but she was like wearing bright red lipstick. That's good. Like that is a good way to still keep true to the original and do your own thing. And I did like how they mentioned the audience involvement for this movie. I thought that was okay. Like, it's an interesting idea. I mean, they don't talk about that in the movie, but it's a big part of Rocky Horror's identity as a movie. But these songs, they basically turned it into Rocky Horror, the Disney Channel original movie. I went there. I think the worst song they did was probably Toucha Toucha, because the girl they got to play Janet, like, she can sing. She is a very good singer, but she can't hit those notes. Like, for that song you need sort of a warbly, like, kind of pitchy voice. Like, you need a voice like Susan Sarandon's, basically. I'm not, like, trying to hold up the original as, like, this perfect movie that can never be, like, topped. Like, I'm not totally against the idea of a Rocky Horror remake if they gave it the right attention. And this movie did not give it the right attention. If this movie was a theatrical release and had a good director and like a cast who actually was like excited, and they got like a man to play to play Frankenfurter, and they got like, if they got people who were excited about this project instead of doing it for a paycheck, I think it would be better. Because what this movie is basically trying to do is it's trying to be both the stage show and the movie, which you can't do. You can't be both. I've noticed this trend a lot though. Like, they did the similar thing with Sound of Music and Grease. They they basically make TV movie versions of the play, which I don't really see the point of it, but they make a lot of money. That's why these things exist. This movie to me is like the new Ghostbusters movie. They are very similar. I mean, they're both based off of beloved properties. None of the fans wanted them. Everybody hates them. But I hate this movie more than the new Ghostbusters movie because, I mean, like, I like the first Ghostbusters movie, and the new Ghostbusters movie is bad, don't get me wrong, but like, if given the choice, I'm probably gonna want to watch Rocky Horror because it's just much more like fun to me, and it's weird, and that's just my kind of thing. That's my personal preference. This movie is exhausting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little review / rant. I mean, if you liked the movie, you're really weird, but that's okay. We all have our things and our own opinions, but it's just not for me. I hope you have a fun, safe Halloween, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go watch the original.